What's up, everyone, and welcome back. It's been a while. Today, we're here with episode number 69 of Tuesday Tips and Tricks. I'm your host, Max at WeVideo, and as always, we've got another great episode lined up for you all today. So everybody starts to kind of pile in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from, and if you have any questions you'd like us to address during the show, please type them out, and we'll get to them. They're relevant right away. If not, we'll get them toward the tail end of the show. Before we get started, a little bit of housework here. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, as well as hit the bell in the top right corner so you get notifications anytime WeVideo releases a new episode. It's been a month, so hopefully you guys are ready for some action again. We've also got our Tuesday Tips and Tricks blog landing page where you can go and see any of our previous episodes. They're all time-stamped, so you can skip around by subject. You can also subscribe to receive weekly email updates with each upcoming show. And that goes out every Thursday prior to the Tuesday following show. Awesome. So we got a great episode lined up for you guys today. We're going to go into video equipment and kind of go over the different tiers and use cases, as well as the cost to get started. But before all that, let's bring on our co-host, Tyler Wall.
How's it going, Max? Happy Tuesday. Good to be back. We're live once again.
I think 4 weeks off.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody had a good summer. And now that kind of school's starting back up, fall's right around the corner, we're kind of switching back into gear. And we're here with Tuesday Tips to help you along with all of your video editing.
Yeah, and a little bit different episode today. Not so much the editing side of thing. We're going to get into some equipment. A bit of a list, get you guys started if you're new to video creation, and show you some suggestions and just give you a good idea of what's out there to help up your production game.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it can be kind of daunting getting started, knowing what to buy, what you need for different use cases. So we've gone through during the break and taken a bunch of video footage of different equipment that we use here and stuff that we have in our studio. And we're going to go through, give you kind of a cost breakdown as well as an use case breakdown. So you have an idea of if you're just getting started, only want to put maybe $20 into ramping up your quality of equipment, where should you put that first? That said, we've also got different options for kind of a more intermediate tier list if you're looking to maybe make that budget a little higher.
Yeah, and we'll give you guys a little bit more background on the equipment, sort of what each piece of equipment does for your production, and give you some more details on that. So if you do have questions along the way, as always, fire those off in the chat. Hopefully we're getting some people coming in.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, without further ado, let's get started. So we're going to kick things off with lighting. The first light up is the just classic USB ring light. This is probably the cheapest entry-level option. These can tend to be right around the $20, $25 range. It can go all the way up to $90. As you increase in cost, you're paying for the ability to change the variability of the warmth of the light, make it brighter, make it warmer. You'll often, as you get more expensive, be paying for like a camera case, or sorry, not a camera case, a carrying case as well. So little features like that. But your basic bread and butter, you're going to have a kind of tripod setup like this, a little phone mount right below or in the middle of the ring, and then the ring light itself. These are all powered by a wall adapter. And yeah, Tyler, maybe you can get into more of the specifics of when you would use one of these as opposed to, I guess, some of the other options that we'll get into after this.
Right. So yeah, these are great, cheaper options. LED lights have made lighting very affordable within the last decade. It's a cheaper version of, big production lights. They're cooler, and they do provide great light. But as Max mentioned, the more expensive ones are going to allow you to crank up, how much light is actually being projected, adjust the color temperature and hue. So some of the cheaper versions might not have those settings, but you can still get a great even light across your subject with these LED lights. And you'll probably see different versions of these LED lights, the ring light or just your typical box LED. They're pretty much the same thing. There is for portrait lighting, you get a catch light. It's like a reflection on the eye, especially on close-ups. And for the ring lights, it's actually kind of nice because you can see that ring in your subject's eye, which is kind of a trendy look, I guess.
Yeah, and so I think ring lights tend to see these more if you're doing like a webcam or webinar style video where you're just facing the camera head on, not a lot of movement or acting for that matter, kind of like what I've
Right.
got here with this setup or what we both have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are great for just shooting head on, so you can put the light right by your camera. A lot of these will have that hot shoe mount, so you can actually attach it to your camera. And it's just a quick and easy way to set up a light and get a little bit more, higher level of production on your videos.
Awesome. Again, if anyone has any questions, let us know in the chat. If you use any of these tools, let us know. If you have any
Yeah.
recommendations, fire those off in the chat as well. And we're just going to kind of keep going through them. So next up, three-point lighting. So we're going to get into the specifics of different kind of lighting setups, whether it's 3-point or 4-point, I guess maybe even 2-point. This is what you would use if you have something like a lighting kit. This lighting kit above, as you can see, you've got two soft boxes and then the umbrella. You can see these where it's a 4-point set where you have two umbrellas as well. So this kind of kit will generally run you anywhere from like $80 to up to $200. And as you get more expensive, you'll probably see a change in the number of lights as well as potentially a backdrop being included. So these are pretty, like if you're looking to bright up a broader area, this would be more applicable than a ring light. And yeah, Tyler, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, maybe you have a space that you're going to have a constant setup, right? Like kind of a studio. These would be great for that. Just real quick, the classic 3-point setup is to have a key light, which is your main light. That's typically going to be very close to your camera. And then you'll have a fill light, which is just filling in the shadows, right, of that the key light is creating. And then you can have a backlight, and that's just separating your subject from the background. So that's your classic 3-point lighting. We won't get too in depth into lighting setups, but there are many different ways you can create different dramatic lighting effects just based on the placement of your lights. So having the 3-point kit is a great way to start practicing some of those things.
Exactly. Awesome. Let's get into the next topic here.
All
Okay,
right.
so yeah, cool. This is what our studio looks like.
Yeah. A little behind the scenes.
This is basically what I do every Tuesday, except I've just got the one camera I'm facing right here. And this is what a 4-point setup looks like. So yeah, Tyler, maybe you could point it out. You kind of just covered it. There's just the one addition here, which is that backlight.
Yeah, so we got that backlight hanging up on our rafters here that really, gives us a nice halo on Max. He's got that great head of hair, so we want that to stand out from our background, right? Um, Then we've got two lights actually lighting this green screen, and that's especially if you have a backdrop like green screen. It's important to get a nice even light on that backdrop, especially if you're going to key that out. And then you can see right there we have our key light, just getting a nice even light across max. So pretty, uh, well, not that simple setup, but once
Yeah,
we've got it set up, it's the same each week. So Max can just go in there and basically turn everything on, and he's ready to go.
pretty plug and play.
Yeah.
One of the things you may have noticed is the lights that we're using there. These are some higher quality.
Hmm.
Uh, the big difference kind of being that there's just more functionality with how bright they can be, as well as they come with a fancy carrying case. And then probably the biggest cool feature is that each one of these lights has a battery pack
Right.
that allows these lights to be powered without being plugged in. So this is great for when we go to conferences and want to set up our booth and want to have full camera lighting.
Yeah, it gives
Um,
you that flexibility to always have power.
Tyler, do you know what type of lights these are called? I guess I could look on the back real quick, but
Um,
just had a
Casters.
question.
We could get Pat in chat. He'll let us know the
Yeah.
exact model.
Uh,
Oh,
oh
there.
yeah. Yeah. Drakecast.
Yeah, Dracast.
Um,
These ones, like we mentioned before, they have great settings on the back, so you can adjust the color temperature, make sure everything is dialed in with your camera color temperature as well as the lights. Um, and then they have, they get very bright too. So that's really where the cost comes in.
yeah. So if you're looking to really upgrade your equipment, this is what we use. And this is, yeah, much more expensive than $100, but
Yeah, one thing we should mention with this list is that video equipment can get expensive really fast. And you know, I recommend starting off lower end stuff, really getting a feel to how to use it properly before you start spending a lot of money. It's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking that spending a ton of money on video equipment is going to make your video that much better. Whereas, just having the good practical knowledge of how to use that equipment is going to be much more useful at the end of the day.
exactly. Kind of on that note, that obviously covers lighting, but another really important feature that I think probably, let me know if you disagree, Tyler, thing you probably should invest in first if you are looking to ramp up that quality of equipment is the microphones and
Yeah.
just how you collect your sound. So, on that note, let's show off some mics.
All right.
Perfect. So, looks like, yeah, kind of out of
Uh,
focus. Give it a second
yeah.
here. But um, here we have a bunch of different microphones, all of which we have here in the studio, and each one kind of has its own use case.
Yeah.
So on the far left, we have the phone audio mics. These are extremely straightforward. And these are obviously on the cheaper end as well, but in terms of quality, great. So these just have a auxiliary jack, which you can then plug into your phone or camera. And yeah, at the bottom there, that coiled up one is just a lav mic. Take that, plug it into your phone, run it kind of through your shirt. So just the top is clipping to your collar.
Hmm.
And then you just open your recording app on your smartphone. Any smartphone nowadays should have a recording app native to the phone. So if you just search your apps, type in recording, it'll pull up. And then you could just hit the button, it'll record the sound. And then we've gone through this before. Once you're in WeVideo, you import the sound separately from the video and then match them up. I think it may have been episode like 65, maybe, is when we talked about pairing that up.
Nice. I wouldn't remember which episode, but
It's a wild guess, but I
yeah,
relatively
probably a pretty
recently.
good guess.
Yeah. Um, then above that is kind of a shotgun mic. Tyler, maybe you could elaborate more on how shotgun mic differentiates.
Yeah, well, real basic. The lav and shotgun just are different in that a lav's going to be used when you need like an interview for a subject. Shotgun mics are more for environmental sound. Obviously, if you point it right at your subject, you're going to still get great audio coming direct to that shotgun. Um, that's basically it. This is a hot shoe mount version, so this would just go on direct onto your camera, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's the
So
basic.
yeah, that lav mic there, that'll run you, I think, $14, $14, $15 range. And that would be my recommendation if you're looking to make a small investment, is to improve your microphone first.
Yeah,
Because we've said it before, you could have 4K, 8K footage, the best picture in the world, but if the sound is awful, no one's going to watch it.
no one's gonna watch for very long. That's
Yeah.
that's the truth. Yeah.
It's also very difficult to fix sound in post production,
Hmm.
as opposed to maybe adjusting the brightness or other things you can do with video. But yeah. So next up, to the right of that, we have the USB mics. Two kind of big names here are the Rode mic, which is actually what I'm using right here, and that is the Yeti, or it's Blue Yeti, right?
Yeah, the one there I think is the Yeti.
Yeah. Um, so we just had a question come in, Tyler. This is from Tech Coach Manny. He says, "I've seen lots. What brand do you recommend? Wireless, wired?"
Um, Manny, are you referring to our USB mic? I'm not sure which ones he's specifying here, but in general, Rode is a great company that usually has more entry level pricing. Sennheiser is kind of the more expensive. Sony makes good mics.
Okay, so
This
he's asking about lav mics
Oh,
now.
Labs. Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah, this one we have pictured here is a Rode mic, and I think as Max mentioned, that was around like 12, $15. We're not sure exact price, but that's a great one for the phone. And if you really want to get into having this far end here on the right, that's a Sennheiser lab mic, and those are very good and robust for bigger productions where you're outside maybe and you don't want to have a lot of interference. You can really trust these guys. They're kind of bulletproof, so that
Yeah.
would be my recommendation if you really want a good transmitter and receiver setup.
Yeah. And those obviously you don't need a phone for. The far right, it's
Hmm.
already got its own, yeah, reception device. But I don't actually know. Those are, I believe, over $100.
Yeah,
The Blue Yeti, or the Yeti, sorry, and the Rode mics, what I'm using right here. These are great if you're, again, doing something that's kind of webinar style, where you're just facing the camera, you're not moving a lot, and you're just talking into mic. This is kind of like the bread and butter basics for podcasts. They're just quality mics. Um, and these are right around, I think, the $190 range,
right.
right around there. So probably the intermediate level. And then, yeah, as Tyler just touched on it, the lav mics on the right are the higher end.
Yeah,
Uh,
and those are not wired, Manny. It's a transmitter and receiver, so you'll get a set. There's only one pictured here on the far right, but you would get a set of two. One would be attached into, I think it's like an 1/8 inch connection to your camera or external recording device, and the other is gonna you can clip it onto your subject, and then the wire will just run up their shirt and clip it right there, so you get
yeah.
the mic nice and close.
The USB mics, the Yeti and the Rode, those are wired, even though you can't see the wire in that picture. Cool. If there's any more questions, just keep firing them off. I think next up we have tripods. So this is kind of another staple among video editing, or video filming, excuse me. You can pick these up for super cheap as well. Oftentimes, in fact, we've done plenty of giveaways where we include a lav mic, tripod, sometimes a gimbal, and of course a license for WeVideo as kind of like a getting started package.
Right.
So yeah, tripod I think goes without saying. Tyler, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, so the one pictured here is probably a cheaper version. If you just need static shots, this is perfect. And this is going to give you that nice, if you're doing your own video too, you can set it up, get a nice static shot. One thing I would recommend if you're going to be doing video with panning or tilting, look into fluid head tripods. That's going to give you a much better, fluid movement, not so herky jerky, kind of like these photo tripods that are made more for just setting up a static shot.
Yeah, we've used kind of I think this identical tripod plenty when we've done videos like the cloning, all those series of videos that we've done where it's just a stationary camera and then we move the subject and we don't want to adjust anything to keep the background all the same.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we
yeah,
cloned Max a couple times using the crop feature in WeVideo as well as the green screen feature, right?
yeah. I think all of those were using just that basic tripod and we use one of our phones.
Yeah.
So goes to show you don't need to spend a ton of money to get quality stuff. But the lav mic is great as well as tripod, and then that basic ring light has done us wonders as well.
Yeah, that's a good point, Max. A lot of the stuff we shoot for Tuesday Tips, even we were shooting on my like iPhone 6 or something, and just
Yeah,
using a basic tripod, and it doesn't need to be the most expensive equipment. It just needs to be a good idea.
exactly. Yeah, so I don't think we're gonna get into cameras today. If that's something in the near future you guys want to see, we can certainly do that. But we do have a couple more things to show. I think next up is the gimbal. Yeah, cool. So we have given away a couple of these, and these are also fantastic for filming outdoors, kind of on the
Hmm.
go. Tyler, maybe you could explain better to me what a gimbal does.
Yeah, so I'm not an engineer, so I don't know exactly, but it's basically 3-point gimbal. It's stabilizing your camera, right? So it's providing great smooth footage and balancing your camera while you're moving handheld. And these are relatively cheap. Like way back in the day, there was very specialized uh, glide cams and huge setups needed to get this stabilization. Today we can get one of these for our phone for what, like $100 maybe.
Yeah,
So great if you're doing handheld stuff a lot. You're outside, you're on the go, you're moving. Maybe look into one of these gimbals.
yeah. This one obviously comes with that kind of tripod mount at the bottom, and then comes with a little carrying case as well. And we've filmed a ton with these. The remote there, where your thumb goes, allows you to kind of move the camera around,
Oh yeah,
quickly flip the direction, that sort of thing.
and this could be used as a tripod as well. Actually,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, you can just make it stay static. So good tool to have.
Awesome. Um, Sweet. I think we have one more equipment thing to show. Perfect. Yeah. So this, as we mentioned before, with the 3-point lighting and then the 4-point lighting, you can often find those as a big kit where it'll come with 3 or 4 lights as well as a backdrop like this with a green screen or any other kind of curtain you want to hang over it for a nice, even, uniform backdrop for your subject. Just the green screen alone, I can't imagine these being too costly. As a kit, as we mentioned before, they can run anywhere from 80 to 200 maybe.
That sounds about right. There are the usually a bit smaller, but the kind of car windshield versions of the green screens as well that are pretty cheap, right, Max?
Yeah, actually, I have one of those here. I could just
They kind of just pop
show.
up. Yeah.
But yeah, basically, it comes in a circle and you unfold it, and it can be up to like 6 feet tall, maybe, and just provides a green background. That's actually our very early Tuesday Tips and Tricks episodes, probably 1 through 6.
Yeah.
Were shot remotely in the living room of my old place, and yeah, it gets the job done. So awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Again, if you have any more questions, please let us know in the chat. If you'd like to see anything in the future, let us know as well. Last thing to cover for today, you may recall back in July and ending the 1st of August, we ran a WeVideo contest where users would submit videos in, I think, one of 5 different categories, as well as an overall winner. Anyway, that competition is over, and we now have our winners, and we will throw those on the screen right now. Perfect. So congrats to everyone above. If you would like to see the individual videos that won, we just came out with the blog today. So if
Yep.
you go to our blog, you can check those out and see what other WeVideo creators are making.
Yeah, lots of really creative entries, and congrats to Thomas, who won the grand prize here. Yeah, definitely check out some of those entries. It's a wide range of different ideas and pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, yeah, it looks like we just had, thank you, Tech Coach Manny. Really appreciate the support. We've done a bunch of different episodes, not necessarily like this. We get more into the editor and our other previous Tuesday Tips shows. But
Yep.
if you have any questions, projects you're working on, would like some advice, ask us in the chat here. The Facebook business community is another great resource to find other users as well as get your questions answered. And I think that's a wrap. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see y'all next week. Happy creating, guys.
See you guys.